It's in the introduction, page 15 of John, the Gnostic Gospel. The Gnostic myth is a tale of the growth of God's mental disintegration. The myth reaches its most unhappy from when the Godhead has not only forgotten who God is, but does not even know that God truly exists, and begins to worship the artificial deity Yaldabaoth as creator of the external world. In the depths of God's fall, the Godhead believes itself to be human and worships Yaldabaoth as the God of the Hebrew Bible. Gnostic texts concern themselves with the attempt by God to return to a state of mental harmony, union, and completion of self-recognition. The Gnostic religion has at its core the view of the world as known by ordinary people is a symptom of God's self-forgetfulness. As a symptom, it is evil, but it is so only as the aches of the self-deluded, psychosomatically ill person are evil. Not only are the aches non-existent, but there is a healthy body really there all of the time. For Gnosticism, the external and the material world is only apparently evil because to the consciousness of the enlightened individual, the pleroma or mind of God is really there all the time. There is no evil realm of matter in Gnosticism. There are only erroneous worldviews that regard the world of matter as a realm independent of the mind of God. In Gnosticism, when God regards the world as material, as created and not God, then the Godhead ceases to know itself. In the final analysis, there is nothing for a Gnostic but God. Sophia, God's wisdom, is not a person distinct from God. Sophia is a form of God's own consciousness. When the Godhead ceases to know itself, God seems to be human and falls into the multiple personalities we know as human beings. Humankind is fallen God. The goal of Gnostic salvation, then, is to bring self-awareness back to God, which means that divine self-knowledge is the religious goal of human life. Gnostic writers are haunted by the question, how did the Godhead cease to know itself and begin to believe that God is human? Gnostics believed that recollection of the origin of the difficulty in which God came to be would enable God, us, to return to correct self-apprehension. This is similar to the theory underlying psychoanalysis. That recollection or a re-experience of an original trauma will dissolve that trauma. Salvation is the inversion of the myth of origin, a retracing upwards of the descent of God into the imprisoned world.